My childhood home and just the way I grew up, we weren't particularly religious. My grandma would always say we were very spiritual. We believed in a higher power, and we believed in being good people. But we didn't regularly attend church, and there wasn't a lot of rules and regulations to how I experienced God. I would occasionally go with friends to their churches of all different religions, really. I begged my mom one summer to go to camp. I wanted to go to a camp. I didn't care what it was. I had watched The Parent Trap, and camp was the business, and it needed to happen for me. So my mom asked some coworkers and friends, and her friend linked me up with his youth camp for 2 weeks. And it was a church camp, and my mom was like, "Are you cool with that?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, don't care what it is, I'm going." And I loved it, and it was so much fun, and so much fun to connect with kids my age and learn about church. Unfortunately, everybody got really sick, so it got cut short, so my experience was cut short. But my few days that I got were so fun and good, and a good introduction to God and the peace that can come with just speaking to him. I didn't know that until that experience. So that did really shift things in my mind and probably start that organic thought of, how does this grow? How do we keep this good feeling going? I am a very loving person. God just kind of created me to be that way, and I've been that way since I was really little. I have a big heart for anything that lives and breathes, and I want to love it and take care of it, and just it's such a blessing and a gift, and when shared with the right people, it's great. It grows because their love grows with you. But unfortunately, when you're given a gift, people can take advantage of it and lead you the wrong way. Of course, the way we want to live our lives does slightly adjust when we're with someone, when we're in, an intimate relationship with someone, because you're building a life together. And I didn't realize how important it was for someone to have the same beliefs as me and to believe in God the way that I did. I would let these relationships kind of dictate and deviate from my plans for not mine, they're never ours, God's plans for our lives and God's plans for my life. Because he had already stepped in and told me he wanted to be there. And for whatever reason, I just kept pulling the door shut, and that didn't make sense. And I think it was more just to please others, to not make someone feel uncomfortable, to not be too loud about the way I felt. It was confusing and questioning, and it really caused me to pause a lot and think, if I go back now, will he even listen? I wouldn't want to listen to me. I've been shutting the door on him every time. Forever. I wouldn't want to open the door. I wouldn't want to give a second chance, or a third, or a fourth, or a fifth. Nobody really wants to put themselves through that. And so I think once you allow yourself to grow away from God, you almost feel afraid to come back sometimes, because you're embarrassed that you let it happen. You didn't want it to happen, and it just did. I was driving home from my niece's dance recital. She had a little Christmas recital. She was dressed up like a snowman. And I was driving home. And I didn't really want to go home. And I hadn't really been wanting to go home for a few weeks. Every time I would leave a friend's house or work or an event I was at, headed back home, I didn't want to head that way. And so, again, I just felt motivated to speak to God. And I did. I just started talking. But this was different, because I knew that this talk had some weight to it, because we hadn't talked in so long. I just asked for help. I asked for guidance. I asked him to show me a way to get out of this situation that seemed impossible to leave, so I could grow and be the loving, kind person that I knew I'm capable of being. And really, very quickly, within a couple weeks, my life did change. My life changed in every way. It was like reuniting with a friend that you don't really know why you stopped being friends. I was overwhelmed. I felt loved, and I was just really happy about it. I want to be baptized to celebrate that commitment, to show myself more than anyone that this is a true feeling, that it won't leave me this time, and that God also understands that I'm not going anywhere. This is a true commitment. This is a lifelong commitment that I will make and honor and practice every day of my life from this point forward. God was with me through all of those tribulations. He saw me hurting every time I was hurting, and he was just patiently waiting for me.